name is Lauren. I'm a senior. Yeah. All right, cool. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm actually a intern here at the Center for Career Development. I work in programming and marketing. And my major is also marketing, and I have minors in communication and data analytics. I'm in the business school. And some things I'm involved in on campus include residence hall associations. So I involved all of the hall councils that you might see if you live on campus. I'm also a mentor for TME. I'm a marketing mentor, and I'm also the VP of marketing for Ascend. And just a fun fact about myself, I used to be a molecular and cell biology major before switching to marketing. So I'm going to pass this off to my co-host, Heidi.
Thank you, Lauren. So my name is Heidi. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a junior double majoring in political science and Latino and Latin American studies with a minor in psychology, which is a lot. My campus involvement, though, I'm an intern at the Center for Career Development. My focus is specifically on affinity communities. I am also the president of Distinguished and Motivated Academic Scholars, which is a club focused on Latina empowerment. Lastly, I'm a co-facilitator for Empower, which is a support group out of the Women's Center. And fun fact, I have a twin brother.
All right, so yeah, we're just going to cover just a quick overview of what we're going to cover today. So we're going to start off with a little bit of background, like why we're particularly presenting this about sophomores, just because Heidi and I are both upperclassmen. We feel really passionate about this issue because we kind of know what it was like to be a sophomore with a little bit of very few guidance for what we should be doing, what can we do during this second year of college to further our career. And next, we're going to cover, what specifically recruiters look for and how you can, as a sophomore, can sort of leverage your skills in order to, best market yourself. And we'll probably be doing that through, developing your personal brand. I'll go over what a personal brand is and how you can demonstrate yours through an elevator pitch as well. And we'll also cover some really awesome alternatives to internships. This is actually like a little bit of like a secret that not too many people your age know about, but there are a lot of companies that host programs that are specifically developed to dedicated to developing sophomore talent, and which will you'll learn later on will kind of lead you into internship and full-time job opportunities. So that's a bit of a secret right there, but we're going to jump into that later. And we're going to be following that with a mini resume workshop and finally covering some resources that the Center for Career Development offers with more specific things on interviews, resumes, and all the other parts of career development. All right, so starting off with why do we feel so strongly about advocating for sophomores? So both Heidi and I are upperclassmen who were once in your shoes. In my opinion, sophomore year of college is a weird time. When I was a freshman, I was just focused on getting acquainted with college life, and junior and senior year would typically be your internship and job search respectively, as you guys probably know. But what happens in your second year? I personally think that career development is something that you should be thinking about as early as you can, or at least have in the back of your mind, because I definitely don't mean to scare you, but if you don't want to get to your junior year and realize that you have nothing on your resume and you don't know how to start marketing yourself as a marketable candidate, you definitely don't want that to happen. But the good news is that if you're here and attending this event, that already means you're not in that group of people because you're making a conscious effort to develop your career. So I'm really excited that you're here, and I know you're going to learn a lot today. So I'm going to pass this off to Heidi.
As Lauren stated, being a sophomore is an awkward stage where you're still exploring your passions. Maybe you don't have a ton of relevant experience in the field you want to go into, but college is the time to be exploring and gaining that experience. So we're here to help you and land those opportunities that are specifically for you guys.
Perfect. So starting us off with, I just like to show this meme right here because it honestly perfectly describes my sort of plight when I was a sophomore and I was hunting for summer internship opportunities, but I saw all the job descriptions and they all said, I need a job. I can't hire you without experience. I need a job to get experience, then work, then give me a job, experience. It's honestly like a little bit of a vicious cycle, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys are sort of experiencing this right now during your search. But moving on to the next slide. So let's pretend actually that you're searching for a summer internship in your desired industry and role right now. So you're looking at several job descriptions and this phrase always comes up. A lot of these companies are currently searching for junior students that are planning to graduate in 2023. But if you're here, you're probably planning to graduate in 2024, which is frustrating. a lot of you might know that companies often look for current juniors because they know that the following summer after their internship, then they can bring them back as a full-time employee. But where does that leave you? If you're an extra motivated sophomore looking for a way to build your resume in the summer, how can you do that? Luckily, this is only one bullet in the whole job description. And moving on to the next slide. As we can see, there are many other parts to the job description other than the desired year of a candidate. So I'm just going to give you a moment to just take a look at some of these. And I want to ask you, is there anything that you noticed by looking at all of these bullet points? You don't necessarily have to type in the chat, maybe just like think about it, reflect on it in your head. And so one thing that you might notice is that although proficiency in Microsoft Office is a valuable skill, it's the only technical skill, it's the only hard skill that they list here, because most of the other bullet points focus on what we call soft skills or transferable skills. So they're called transferable skills because you can transfer them to any role you might take on in the future. They're not job specific and they will stay with you. So some examples might be communication, analytical skills, critical thinking, problem solving, and organization. They're very important skills to have, but if you don't want to take my word for it, then I'll name a few stats. So Monsters, the Future of Work 2021, Global Hiring Outlook reported that when employers were asked to name the top skills they want in employees, they cited soft skills such as dependability, teamwork/collaboration, flexibility, and problem solving. And in addition, according to LinkedIn's 2019 Global Talent Trends report, 89% of recruiters say that when a hire doesn't work out, it usually comes down to a lack of soft skills. So those are very important. And so what does all this mean for you? Although there's one bullet point that says a candidate should be in this year of college and one bullet point that asks you to have some basic Microsoft Word skills, there are so many other bullets that ask candidates to demonstrate a variety of transferable skills, which employers often value more when it comes to hiring candidates that are just starting out in the workforce like you. All right, so moving on to the next slide. We're just going to cover a little bit about what recruiters look for. So, here's just some common things to look out for in entry-level candidates such as yourself. So as you know, they look for someone who has demonstrated excellence in their academics, has taken coursework that might be relevant to the internship, has leadership experience or meaningful involvement in school. And for some technically demanding roles such as engineering, they might be looking for certain coding languages that you understand, etc. However, for the rest of the job, besides those few, soft skills and professionalism are really important. Most things about your job you will learn by doing the job itself. You'll always have training, but it's the traits such as willingness to learn, adaptability, and communication that cannot easily be taught. So they're looking for people that have already demonstrated those in clubs, academics, volunteer opportunities, etc. All right, and moving on to the next slide. So what does this actually mean for you? How can I demonstrate those skills and market myself so that I'll be a great candidate for a summer internship? So one thing that you can start thinking about and formulating right now is your personal brand. And I can honestly tell you that not many other students in your year are thinking about this right now. And honestly, if you ask a lot of seniors about their personal brand, not too many will know what you're talking about or be able to properly express their own. So if you get a head start, which you're doing right now, you'll be miles ahead of others. So what exactly is a personal brand? What am I actually talking about when I say this? When you think of brands, you might think of Nike, Apple, Tesla, among many others. And when you think about a certain company's brand, you might think about their logo, slogan, and some of their products. As a personal marketing major myself, we tend to think of brands as like shortcuts, essentially in like thinking, because when you think of like a certain brand name or a logo, it'll make you think of all these different emotions, feelings, products that are associated with that. So it's a little bit of like a shortcut, if I may say so myself. So moving on to the next slide. So what is your personal brand? Your personal brand is everything that makes you, you. Preferably the most marketable aspects of your personality, skills, and prior experiences. So I actually recommend that you open up a blank Google Doc or Word document either like later today or tomorrow and just take some time to reflect on the message that you want to convey to others. And I would break down your personal brand into 4 different parts. So the first one is strengths. So what are your greatest strengths when it comes to both personal and professional qualities? It might be your attention to detail. It might be your fantastic writing skills. Is it your ability to adapt to any situation? It might even be your positive energy that you bring to the room or even your rational and logical thinking. You can certainly ask your friends, family, and coworkers for help in brainstorming as well. In fact, I actually do recommend doing that because we can think about our own strengths all day, but I guarantee that you'll discover something new about yourself if you remove your personal biases and ask a close confidant about what they think your strengths are. And going along with that, what are your greatest achievements? And I'm not just talking about awards or times when you were recognized by others. You'll want to think about times, I'm also thinking about the times where you felt proud of yourself for your good actions. You'll want to think about stories that you can tell in an interview and that will tie into some of your greatest strengths. So for example, if you said that your greatest strength was communication, then think about a time when you were able to effectively communicate with others, whether it be in a team, in a tricky situation, to persuade one, etc. And make sure that you know the results of that so you can speak to the specific, things that happen as a result of you communicating well. And so your achievement stories and strengths should go hand in hand. So I hope that some of you guys are thinking that, you kind of are getting the idea of a personal brand and what it actually means now, because it all sort of ties in together. Next is goals. And let me preface this by saying that nobody expects you to have a perfect plan for the next 10 years of your life. But here's a bit of a hard truth. Recruiters do like to hear that you're not just stumbling around waiting for an idea to hit you. They want to hear that you're actively putting yourself out there and exploring your interests. So you definitely don't have to have everything figured out, but if you're asked about your goals, you should be able to name a few industries or career areas you're exploring and what you're doing to explore them. That's a big thing. What are you actively doing right now to explore some of your goals and sort of narrow down some of your interests? And finally, this one is for, more oriented for the creative folks out there, design. This is probably essential for graphic design and art majors, but if you wanted to create your personal logo for LinkedIn, your own website, or even a business card, that really would stand out and really solidifies the sort of, personal, like the actual brand aspect of it. All right, so moving on to how can I actually demonstrate my personal brand? So I talked a little bit about, some things that you might want to do to really develop and think about, personal brand before, but how can I actually demonstrate this to recruiters and other people that you talk to? So I'd like to break this up into 4 different things as well: your email signature, your online presence, your language that you use, and also your elevator pitch, and how you might conduct a lot of your interviews. And so I will talk a little bit about email signature first. I'm going to pass it off to Heidi in a bit. So you can honestly tell a short story about yourself in just a few words or an image that goes at the very end of all of your communications at the end of your emails. Let's actually take a look at some examples from other students. Most of the examples that you will see are actually from students. I didn't want to bring in examples that are like, from people that are like years older than you, so you can have an idea of how current students right now are actively demonstrating their personal brand through their email signature, and as you'll find in a little bit, like your LinkedIn and et cetera. So I'm going to pass this off to Heidi.
Thank you, Lauren. So yeah, as Lauren mentioned, an email signature is important for branding yourself. You can tell a short story in just a few words. So if you can see mine up here, I have my pronouns, that I'm an undergraduate student, what school I go to, my major, and my involvement. So every time you send an email that goes at the end, so people get that message and they identify either a logo or a quote with you. And getting into more about the language, on our website, we have blogs about writing professional emails, and we'll be sending out links with all the resources we talked about. But just looking at these, you can see how everyone chooses to personally brand themselves. Moving on to the LinkedIn About section. This is a space where you can share your story. You can include what you're currently doing, what you hope to achieve, and you can include skills and experiences in here. This is a chance to pitch yourself to anyone who checks out your LinkedIn profile. You can either make them longer, like this one at the bottom, or shorter, like mine up here. It reveals more about your personality, what you value, and what your goals are. So it's a great opportunity to, again, tie together your LinkedIn profile and pitch yourself to anyone reading. And these are more examples of the About section. You can see down here, there's a call to action. Feel free to reach out. And this one's more story-like. And then another part of your LinkedIn is your headline. So when you search people on LinkedIn, right under their headshot, you're going to see their headline. And our office recommends that you include that you're a student at UConn, however you choose to do that. See this one right here, it says passionate about international development, marketing student at the UConn School of Business. It also incorporates emojis, which you can choose to do if you want to. but again, includes that you're a student and also what you're passionate about or what your current role is. Right. And so the question, why should I hire you? You should be prepared to answer this, whether you're networking with people or you're at a career fair, and we're going to help you answer that question by using elevator pitches. Creating an elevator pitch is a great skill that takes time to perfect, since you'll always be adapting and changing it based on new experiences or how it fits into a conversation. To create an elevator pitch, you want to begin by jotting down keywords or notes about your skills, characteristics, and the relevant experiences you want to discuss in your pitch. Based off who you're going to deliver this pitch to, for example, maybe a representative of a marketing company, you'll want to mention skills that are needed in that industry or field. And now it's time to put all those pieces together. So write out a few sentences and you're going to want to finalize and rehearse your pitch. It should be from 30 seconds to 90 seconds long, and again, adaptable based on your conversation with the person and when you're delivering the pitch. And you don't want to lecture people. You want to use a friendly, informative tone. And down here, I've included the three main parts of an elevator pitch, which is your introduction, current experience, and your goals. And again, we'll be sending out a blog about how to craft a good elevator pitch after this session. And now I'm going to pass it. It's a line. So we wanted to provide some alternatives to internships because we realized that it's not always a realistic goal for everyone. So not all internships are paid positions, and therefore it excludes people from participating in these roles if they don't have the financial means to do so. And it's okay if you can't get an internship. You're in whatever paid position you are. If you're maybe a barista at Starbucks, you're working at Dunkin', you're still developing those transferable skills, even though they're not specific to an industry you might want to go into. Any company that looks at you is going to value that any extracurriculars you're doing while you're in college, so don't be too worried about that. I wanted to put you guys on to an opportunity I took advantage of last summer, which is the Opportunity Fund for First Generation students out of our office. I don't know when applications will reopen again, but last year I applied, and because I'm a first generation student, I was given funds to take advantage of an opportunity. And without those funds, it wouldn't have been accessible to me. So I really recommend that you check that out. We will be sending more information on that again after the webinar. I also recommend looking through JobX because they list paid research opportunities and internships on campus. And we'll be getting into more on-campus paid opportunities in a bit. So I'm going to pass this off to Lauren.
All right. Thanks, Heidi. So, I'm actually going to get into the part of the presentation where I actually give you specific job postings, or not job postings, I guess more like program postings for specific companies that offer sophomore-specific summer programs. So this is that kind of secret that I mentioned, during the overview, during the beginning of this presentation, that not a lot of, second-year students are aware of. And actually, I'm really excited about this because many of these options are only a few days or a few weeks long. So as Heidi mentioned, if, an internship, if commuting isn't really, feasible for you because, due to your financial situation or whatever it might be, these will definitely be a little bit more accessible. Some of these actually offer stipends. And in addition, these are actually fast tracks to internships the following summer and perhaps even full-time jobs the summer after you graduate. It's actually kind of crazy because I know a good amount of people that have had interviews for these programs their sophomore year, and because they did well, they never had to go through the whole interview process or do the internship and job search really ever again because they were considered for an internship the following summer and they were considered for a full-time job after. So it certainly saves you an enormous amount of time, and we'll be sure to share all these links with you after you apply. With you after this presentation, excuse me. All right, so moving on to the first company. So Synchrony, located right here in Stamford, Connecticut, has a BLP sophomore externship. So a lot of you might know Synchrony is a financial services company that I think they offer specifically they have a lot of deals with retailers like Nordstrom, Macy's in order to offer credit services to them. But even if you're not interested in finances, they have a lot of different areas that they offer. I was actually interviewing with them for a marketing position because they're really big on marketing there in addition. So the BLP Sophomore Externship is designed specifically for rising juniors. It's interactive and engaging experience. It's filled with executive networking, senior leader Q&A, case studies, community service, and much more. So the BLP Sophomore Externship is an outstanding opportunity for you to build your network and your resume, all while having some fun along the way. So it's 4 days, right in May after the semester ends, and it's in person in Stamford, Connecticut. All right, so moving on to Nielsen. So Nielsen, many of you might be familiar with them through like the Nielsen ratings, like that they do with like TV and broadcasting. And you might also be familiar with them because they occasionally send you surveys. But Nielsen is actually the largest market research company in the world. And Nielsen IQ University is a data analytics training program that allows students to explore just that by analyzing the latest consumer trends for our Fortune 500 consumer packaged goods manufacturer and retail clients. So for those who aren't familiar, consumer packaged goods are essentially everything that you see on store shelves. Some famous consumer packaged goods companies include like maybe like Nestle, Johnson & Johnson, Unilever, like Coca-Cola, like those types of products. So Nielsen works directly with these CPG companies, and they work with them by providing like sort of market research and data analytics that will help them basically increase their sales. So participants work on real client marketing challenges using syndicated data, and participants also receive a stipend of $250, mentoring, professional development, and direct access to job interviews, internships, or full-time career opportunities. And if you actually go to their website, it's actually kind of crazy because they have like a whole roadmap for you. Like if you're thinking about applying to this program, like right now in 2022, they already have a plan for you in like 2026. Like, you know, if you choose to stay with them, which you obviously don't have to, you know, they already have like, they're like, okay, yeah, so you're going to be like a full-time associate in 2026. Like it's kind of crazy, like how much kind of they plan for you and the structure that they give you. All right, so moving on to the next one, which is at the Hartford. So based right here in Hartford, Connecticut, many of you might know it as an insurance firm. So candidates chosen for the early immersion program will visit their campus in Hartford for 3 consecutive days in June. And there you'll receive valuable resume building opportunities through professional development workshops. And you'll also get the chance to network with hiring managers and early career professionals, including company interns. There's more. You'll also be first to know about internships available for the following summer, so you can be sure to apply early. I know a lot of people who have you know, done either marketing, underwriting, finance, anything related to the Hartford here, and I know that they're just great. The recruiters are awesome. And moving on to Goldman Sachs, a lot of you finance majors, investment bank sort of enthusiasts will definitely know about this bulge bracket firm. So Goldman Sachs 2022 Insight Series is their 4-week-long virtual undergraduate program. So as a participant, you can personalize your digital curriculum or enjoy the recommended sessions for your grade levels. So it's not specifically sophomores, you know, so it's not sophomore specific, but it's definitely open to like freshmen and sophomores as well. And their modules work in tandem to invest in your understanding of yourself, the firm, and you and the firm, and your journey to Goldman Sachs. And moving on to another finance investment banking company, if you're trying to get on Wall Street, JP Morgan Chase & Co. So it says right here, searching for the right internship and curious if JP Morgan might be a good fit for you. This 2-day immersive experience will introduce you to various businesses and give you a chance to showcase your skills through a collaborative team case study. And top performers will be fast-tracked to final interviews for our upcoming summer internships in either investment banking, markets, asset management, or wealth management. All right, and moving on to AT&T. The AT&T Summer Learning Academy is a free self-paced online learning certificate program powered by award-winning AT&T University curriculum. I thought this one was pretty cool. I actually participated in it last summer. I actually had an internship last summer because it was like my junior year, but just after I was working during the day, so during the nighttime, I would just go through some of the like the webinars and the videos that they had up here for AT&T Summer Learning Academy. And it's really cool because it covers topics in career development, in addition to business acumen, telecommunications, what AT&T does best, and has also brought in famous speakers such as, I believe last time they brought in like Fareed Zakaria, you know, the CNN like reporter, in addition to like Ellen Ochoa. I believe she's like the first Latina woman to like go up in space, like with NASA. So super cool variety of speakers and hosts that are, you know, giving awesome talks and informative career development like talks there. And moving on to our final one that I could think of, there are obviously many out there besides this. I know Google actually has a sophomore-specific program. I was going to include it here, but the deadline for applying actually passed, unfortunately. But I'll give you more tips on like how to search for more of these sophomore-specific programs after. But the last one that I have listed here is COLES. So the Sophomore Career Expo will basically give sophomores the opportunity to explore #life at COLES, partake in an array of professional development opportunities, as well as learn more about their diversity and inclusion initiatives. And upon program completion, all participants are invited to an exclusive early interview opportunity for an internship following their junior year. And so those are kind of the main sophomore-specific opportunities that I found and are most accessible to us here, or here at UConn or like Connecticut residents. But there are definitely a lot more that are available. I just probably haven't found them. If you Google, and I'll include this in our email that we'll send you after. But if you Google specific keywords such as like sophomore career development programs or like sophomore specific opportunities, you'll be able to find more programs that are dedicated to developing talent as early as your second year. And all right, I'm going to pass this off to Heidi to talk about UConn summer experiences here.
Right. So UConn has an array of different things you can do over the summer in addition to taking classes. So UConn One Summer is something that I actually participated in, and One Summer manages all housing needs for any student or guest that arrives to campus during the summer. So think orientation, any conferences. They collaborate with university partners such as university events and conferences services, dining services, athletics, summer programs, and faculty. They plan all aspects of housing for anyone staying on campus throughout the entire summer, and their deadline for applying is March 8th. Yesterday, Husky Week of Welcome, their committee opened up applications if you wanted to apply to be a leader. I don't know if you guys remember from your first year, Week of Welcome is like a week full of events welcoming people back onto campus, and you'd be in charge of a group of students, helping them navigate campus on their first days, and you can develop a lot of transferable skills through that position. I also wanted to touch on experiential learning and study abroad opportunities. These opportunities, they're not entirely paid for depending on each person's individual financial needs, but you can apply for grants and scholarships to take advantage of these opportunities. They can help you develop competencies like intercultural competencies and different, just gaining different perspectives in different countries. As you can see here, there's different topics like racial and social justice in the Netherlands, and there's major specific ones. So I really encourage you to look on the Study Abroad website, speak to advisors. They can help you get funding to take advantage of these opportunities. Pass this off to Lauren.
All right, so I actually have another exciting opportunity for you. I don't know if you guys have heard of micro-internships, but I'm going to talk about two specific different micro-internship programs here. So they're short-term, they're paid professional assignments that are similar to those given to new hires or interns. And so one of them is offered through the School of Business, it's called like a Parker Dewey program. And so I have a little graphic here at the bottom for like how it works. Companies post paid projects and UConn students apply. And these companies choose from, this list of candidates. The candidate pool is usually not too large because not that many people know about them. And so, as a result, if you're chosen, then you'll be able to gain work experience through working on a specific, like usually short-term project, working directly with a company. So that's super cool. And this U21, University of 21 project is something that the Career Center is actually actively sponsoring, and we just started taking applications for, I think, recently, just now. And it's specifically working with sustainability. So I'll read directly off the website. The U21 Sustainable Micro-Internships program allows you to work with your fellow students from across the globe, sharing knowledge and experience while immersing yourself in a commercial organization. In your groups, you will be tasked with providing a solution to a real-life sustainability-related challenge, which you will then pitch to senior stakeholders within the organization at the end of the program. So the three specific topics that they're covering in the micro-internships now are climate action, gender equality, and good health and well-being. And so you can find more about the U21 micro-internship by contacting the Career Center and the other Parker Dewey micro-internships through the School of Business. All right, so next I'm going to cover micro-credentialing. So these certifications are actually getting really popular nowadays and are good ways to show your knowledge of common tools that many companies actually actively use in their day-to-day business. And so these ones that I've listed right now are common tools that companies use, such as HubSpot, Salesforce. Those are specific customer relationship management programs. Those are probably more applicable for marketing and data analytics people who are trying to get in those fields, in addition to Google Ads and Google Analytics. So those are really marketing and data analytics oriented, but I am seeing a lot of other people that just want to get involved in business and also entrepreneurship, just try to earn these certifications nowadays and put them on their LinkedIn, because that is a huge thing now, getting like certified for these technologies, so that companies already know that, like, if you were to hire me for an internship, I would already have like a little bit of knowledge of like how you use this database or something. All right, so moving on to informational interviewing, I'll pass this off to Heidi.
All right, so informational interviewing. It's really common for young professionals like you guys to learn more about potential careers by simply just reaching out to people on LinkedIn for like 15 to 30-minute calls. Before these calls, you should prepare a few questions, look at their LinkedIn profile and their experiences, and ask them questions based on their experiences. You're essentially interviewing them about their career journey and their experiences, and you're gaining someone else in your network. Another resource is the Husky Mentor Network. It's also another great tool. It's like a mini LinkedIn, and it allows you to reach out to UConn alumni that have offered to mentor students. Husky Mentor is a great tool because it takes out the work out of networking. It gives you templates and guides, about like how to go about the whole process, and people are there and they're willing to help you. So I really encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. You can also reach out to faculty on campus that are doing research. If you're interested in their research, that's a great way to become a research assistant. Or if you're trying to apply to a certain grad school, reaching out to people in that department is a great way to like get your foot in the door and learn more about potential programs. So next, I want to talk about resumes and the importance of resumes when you're marketing yourself to employers. Resumes are like a one-page document. They're the most important document in marketing yourself professionally. It presents critical and relevant information to the reader, or if that's an employer or like a grad school committee. It highlights your educational background, experiences, your accomplishments, skills, and academic or career interests. And the goal of a resume is to get an interview. And I wanted to highlight a certain section on the resume, which are bullet point statements. They are 1 to 2 lines that explain what you've accomplished in a certain experience. And these are one of the most critical parts of your resume, because they allow the employer to understand how each experience relates to the one you're applying for. It describes the quality of your work and showcases your transferable skills. So now I'm going to go over the 3-step process of creating your bullet points. First, you want to think about the skills you possess and the skills the position requires. It helps you decide what you want to include in your bullet point statements. Once you've listed out what your transferable skills are that you want to mention in a particular statement, you can start to craft it. So in our bullet point statements, we have the what, the how, and the why. The what is what task or responsibility you completed. The how is what skills you used to complete this responsibility, which can be technical or hard skills or industry-specific skills. And then the why is why did you do it? What was the result or the importance of this task, of this responsibility, and how did it lead to a positive outcome for the organization? Once you've listed out all 3 parts, you can start to put your bullet point statement together. And here is an example of putting together the what, how, and why to create this bullet point example. So the what is give presentations to first-year students. Next, how did you do it? By communicating, teaching, using time management and technology. And why did you do it? To educate undergraduate students on resume writing and answer questions about career development. And here is the full bullet point statement. And I just want to explain to you that bullet point statements will evolve over time. Your first bullet point statement won't be the final one or your best one. You're going to get better at crafting these specific bullet point statements over time. And as you can see, they progress over time. But we also wanted to highlight the different resources our office offers to help you develop career competencies. So I'm going to pass this off to Lauren.
All right, yeah. So these are just a few just things that our office offers, but I actually wanted to get into like the next slide. You can definitely check out more on our website, career.uconn.edu, but I also wanted to let you be aware of the fact that we are actually hiring interns for the next academic school year. So applications just opened, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. But if you are looking for a valuable internship opportunity that will definitely build your professional development skills, expand your resume, and open doors to your future career path, I feel like there's no better place to work at than the Career Center. All majors are accepted and no prior career development experience is required, but I just want to let you know that we are currently recruiting for those 4 areas right there: outreach and engagement, career consulting and services, program development and marketing, which is what me and Heidi do, and operations, technology, and data. To learn more, definitely visit Handshake or the Work at the Center section of our website, career.uconn.edu. But I just want to let you know and be aware of this opportunity. All
Yeah, I
right.
want to mention.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm doing an Instagram takeover on Monday, so if you want to see what a day in the life is for an intern at the center, I recommend that you watch that. Reach out to any of us if you have any questions about what our specific projects look like or how we've developed our career journeys through the office. So.
Yeah, for sure. So if you go to actually the last slide of our presentation, it has our contact information. If you have any questions, anything at all about what we went over today, if you'd like us to expand on any others, tell us about, or you want to hear about our personal experiences like searching for internships and jobs, definitely feel free to reach out, and especially about the this Career Center internships opening up for next year. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to unmute or just type them in the chat and we will do our best to answer. But if not, thank you so much for attending today. I really hope that this section was helpful for you, and you kind of recognize the value in developing your personal brand and how you can better express that as a sophomore.